one where he won.
Basically, yeah. I mean, basically, if you think about it, even though Superman doesn't have telekinesis, I could just blow anything that I wanted to.
You should rephrase.
I know. I was thinking about that.
Superman has the power.
I was thinking about that, but that's what you would do.
Blow?
I mean,
what does Superman blow?
Careful.
The fires out. You blow fires out.
Okay.
Started by gas, started by a cigar.
Interesting. Yes, right over here.
Jason, it seems like you play jerks a lot. Do you really like playing the villain?
Or are you just a jerk?
I don't know. I can't answer that part. That's for everyone else to answer. But I don't think so. I hope not.
No, you're not. No.
Thanks.
No.
I guess
right,
not.
guys?
I guess the answer's no to that one. But in terms of playing a jerk, it was fun to play. It was fun to play the villain in this movie for sure. I've always loved villains watching movies. I guess maybe it's because they're so close to being the hero of the movie, but they're almost like lazier than the good guy, and that's why you always have those scenes in movies where the villain says to the good guy, "Let's just join forces. Together we could rule the world." And I think it is because they are so similar, and so it was fun to play the villain because I got to play, against this great actor, and he's a great hero, and it was fun to play, the lazier version of Scott Pilgrim, and it was fun to be passive aggressive, which is what Edgar told me that he wanted, and that was enjoyable. So, and Lex Luthor, played by Gene Hackman's my favorite of all villains. So, it was awesome to be unstable.
Right over here.
This question is for Mary. When you were doing interviews during production, you said that Brian Lee O'Malley told you a few things about him that only he knew. Share.
I don't know. I haven't really talked to Brian to figure out if it's okay to share those or if it's supposed to be kept secret. So I feel a little weird giving specifics about it. But basically, they were mostly things that were just sort of traumas that she had been through and really sad things in her life that kind of made me go, wow, okay, she's a really wounded, dark, tragic figure. She's not just this sort of pop, fun dream girl. She's got a lot going on a weight that she carries around on her shoulders. So that helped me a lot in figuring out, what to do with her.
Right here.
Edgar, what was your favorite pop culture reference that you slipped into the film?
I guess there's something like I probably like the sound from Flash Gordon, which is only in I guess probably you're not an average audience in the sense of otherwise it would probably use it in a whole theatre. One person would go and look around to see none of his other friends are laughing. So I put that sound in for that person.
I love you, Michael Town!
Oh my God.
Well, I started working when I was 9. I always wanted to be an actor.
Right there.
Edgar, I'd love to hear about the post and editing process a little bit for two things. One, great job on visual storytelling. You're always cutting from somebody about to say something to the visual, and I wonder how much you guys experimented with that and pushed it. And another, because you were adding all these visuals on top, where did you decide to stop there? I mean, was there a time when there's more or less?
I just stopped when the time and the money ran out. All of that stuff was kind of planned and written like that, especially some of the kind of the sort of montages where they're kind of one line's in one location, one line's in another. It was all kind of, the entire film was really kind of heavily storyboarded. And obviously we had an amazing resource in Brian's books, but most of the scenes, especially the action scenes, kind of veer off from the kind of the books. But yeah, it's all kind of plotted out because you have to if you do transitions all the way through, you kind of have to know exactly where one scene is ending and exactly where the next one is starting. So we did a lot of that stuff, and sometimes we kind of like, even within shots, kind of, you know, like have little bits of kind of blue card that would kind of fly in to go behind Michael's head to kind of get into the next shot. And I know we you know, it was all kind of plotted out. So, and then occasionally if some scenes come out, which one or two scenes come out, try and kind of, then you have to kind of fashion a new transition out of something else. But for the most part, all of those things were in the script and storyboarded. So, and I think some of the a lot of the graphics were in the storyboard, and a couple of things kind of came later, like the idea of putting points during the last fight every time they hit was something that came later, so it could, in the final fight, really like sort of become, you know, like a video game. So that stuff came later, and even like Gideon's kind of, you know, kind of him blip-verting to death, kind of that whole thing was actually sort of added later, was just an idea that came later. So there was different layers of it, but a lot of it was in the storyboards, if not the script.
Over here.
When are you working with when are you working with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost again? I missed them.
I miss them too. They haven't gone away. They're not dead. Well, we actually, me and Greg Mottola had like an exchange, because he did a film with Simon and Nick, and I did a film with Michael. So we call it the Superbad Hot Fuzz Exchange. So, but yeah, I think sort of whenever we start writing again, I mean, you know, we worked together for like 12 years, and you know, I think sometimes people kind of expect me and Simon and Nick to be handcuffed together forever, but you know, he gets to do Mission Impossible 3 and Star Trek, for fuck's sake. So I'm allowed to do something else too. No, it's great. You know, Simon and Nick were in Comic-Con, and you know.
And you hurt their feelings in front of a large audience.
I know, but they were up for that gag.
No, they came backstage and started crying. It was sad. I had to put up with that.
Ah.
Over there in the back.
How many,
Yes, you.
How many sound clips do you think you squeezed into the movie, and were there any that you couldn't get the rights to, or they wouldn't let you use?
What do you mean by sound clips? Like?
But they're just, you know, the Seinfeld bits, the arcade bits, they're just little sound bites all through it.
I think we got pretty much everything that we, you know, like. I mean, there's things you just have to go through a lot of. It's a lot of work, all the you know, the clearances and stuff. Even just Scott Pilgrim's T-shirts was an enormous like effort of just, you know, every single scene has a different T-shirt which requires some kind of clearance. And you know, it's funny to go to Sharpie and say, we'd like to make a T-shirt with your logo on it. You know, so so I guess that there's a lot of things that we had to go back to. Most of the things that you know, like companies like Sega and Nintendo, especially Nintendo, who are like, you know, a real family-oriented company, like want to be really kind of careful about the context use and stuff like that. But they were really cool. I mean, they let us do that kind of orchestral version of Zelda and stuff. So I think those things you just have to leave a lot of time. If you're trying to get clearances on things, you just have to kind of really work hard and, you know, not take no for an answer. And kind of go the personal route as well, because if it goes corporation to corporation, it will just be an immediate no. So, yeah. Not a funny answer, but I'm sorry. I had no joke. I had no button on the end of that answer. I'm sorry.
Michael.
I thought it was hysterical.
You got them to laugh, so it worked.
You love my clearance material, don't you?
It just kills me every time.
Michael Bacall, what is it like to write with this guy?
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I'll give you the highlights. We started working in Los Angeles 5 or 6 years ago, and we worked over breakfast, which was a new concept to me. And because I'm a night owl, and it's very difficult for me to get up before the crack of noon. So we'd start to work in Los Angeles, and then he would fly to London in pre-production for Hot Fuzz, and I would kind of like fly out there, and we kind of finish up the first draft, and that was really amazing, getting to read drafts of Hot Fuzz, and it was we'd take a break while he went off to shoot and promote that movie, and then he came back to Los Angeles, and he was staying at Quentin Tarantino's house, so that was a real drag going up there and working every day. I brought up a lot of coffee and water. I was on patrol for coffee and water, and it was amazing. I learned a lot, and we worked really hard and really well. I think, together in many different ways. Like a lot of fun exercises, like working on the same scene at the same time and then kind of trading up and comparing. It was really fun.
Oh. So, to the cast, when you look at this film, how trippy is it to like have the memory of watching this movie versus the memory of shooting it, and just how crazily different those two experiences have to be? Michael.
When I watched the movie, I can remember everything about the scenes we were shooting. I can remember everything about what was happening those days. For some reason, I don't know why. I guess just because it was kind of our whole world for
Yeah.
like 7 months, or 5 or 6 months. So it was just like we were all living in a bubble, and all those memories come back when I watch the movie. It's amazing. It was the most fun I've had working on something.
What's the feeling like the first time you saw you hit someone and then turn into a pile of coins? How cool is that? Because that would be so fucking cool.
It's not really
now
my
the
thing.
whole world gets to see you hit people and turn them into coins and then say not enough for bus fare. That's just awesome.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I mean, it doesn't feel like me. I mean, I feel like this is, a fully realized movie that Edgar had in his head for 5 years. So watching it, it doesn't feel like I'm watching myself the way some other things do. It feels like I'm kind of watching, this movie that was, I don't know, fully realized and came out of Edgar's head.
I thought we were shooting a drama. So when I saw it, I was really shocked and called my agent.
You thought you were filming a movie with Thomas Jane.
That's right. Where we smoke cigars all day and howl at the moon. No, but seriously, that question makes me think that when we're filming the movie, it was very clear that we were shooting a comic book movie in a way that I hadn't felt before. I guess because I worked. Did I say something strange? But I know because shooting Superman. I guess because I was involved in everything, I couldn't stand back from it as much. I was just in it. And then working on this film, I look around and I see everybody in their costumes that were in the movie, and all the crazy effects and the bright scenes the sets were kind of very decorated and very bright and very full. And it was just it was very present all the time. And that's, it's evident in the film, thankfully, and one of the best ever comic book adaptations, maybe the best comic book adaptation that's happened.
Definitely the best one on the market today.
The best comic book film opening against Eat, Pray, Love.
Over there? Yes, with the wavy going like this.
Yeah. Did you guys create the video game that they played in the movie, or did you guys take that from someone else?
No, it's completely fabricated for the film. It's called Ninja Revolution. It looks pretty cool, right? It looks pretty cool. Sorry? I know, all that exists of it is the, I don't know, 20 seconds that you see in the film. But this company called Blur Studio, and Tim Miller, who's doing that film, doing the heavy metal thing with David Fincher, his company did it, and it looks. What was crazy about that is we had 2 of the stunt doubles basically it was just crazy that coming together, because really early on they did we had the piece of music. The piece of music was by Dan the Automator, and then the choreographer and stunt choreographer worked out a routine, which then Michael and Ellen had to learn, and then that was sent to Blur Studios before we started shooting, and then halfway through the shoot we had this amazing animation. So it's just crazy how that came together, but it looks so authentic. I'm always a big, and everything else that I've done, like Spaced and Sean, we always use real video games, and on this, because of the nature of what we wanted to do, we had to make one up, so I wanted it to look really, really authentic. So those guys did an amazing job, and so no, it doesn't exist. And maybe it should.